Go ahead, please.
I had a demonstration, I saw one, and I know he can explain it, but as an outsider who's just spent 10 minutes on it, you can understand objectively viewing it, the product is a different perspective altogether. There are two things very important here. One is the user access. The person who needs to know that particular data, for example, if it's a retail company and it gets data of customers, so they might have credit card information also. So that information is sensitive. So this tool classifies that particular information as sensitive, encrypts it, and only the person who is supposed to collect that data and store it only has access. So that kind of control is also there. It shows as a restricted document and it will be encrypted. So it has to be, if it has to be shared for processing anywhere, it will go in an encrypted manner. So this is something that will stop other people from accessing that data who don't need to know the same. So that's something which is implemented as a practice, as a technical effect of using that tool itself. So no third person will be able to hack into it.
Yeah, very well said. But what happens is, using AI, I can impersonate a voice of the boss, and the boss will say, "My phone is lost, and I need this data." And the voice is the boss's voice because it has been AI has modified it. So then the person gets compromised, and the voice will say, "There's a immediate urgency, so you have to give me this data right now."
These are social engineering attacks.
So
these are phishing attacks.
Is there any way that when the sensitive data is being sent out, the boss has also reported that this data is being sent out? So is there anything?
There is a red flag. There's a system called data loss prevention software. So some of the features are that the data loss, if there is a suspicious activity happening, for example, there is a policy which is of the company that this data will not go outside, and if it is going, then there will be a red flag, and immediately the CTO can be alerted. Such features are there in products these days, and you can immediately plug it and stop that attack from happening. If it's a deep fake or not a deep fake, these are social engineering attacks. I think the most important thing is that employees have to be made aware. People have to be made aware who are working for the organization. So emphasis on trainings is very important. Emphasis on communicating the right policies, what they can do, they can't do. I've dealt with cases where employees have, despite being told that they will not download a pirated software, they're still downloading a pirated software. And sometimes they are stealing from official email ID, they are stealing sensitive data, forwarding it to their personal email IDs, which is a red flag. So immediately if the DLP is put in the system, they will raise an alert, and the CTO will immediately track and stop his user access. That is one of the features which even Seclore has. So it will immediately take away that permission from that person who's trying to manipulate or play with that data, which is in an unauthorized manner.
So if I can just add to that, see, there is between people getting compromised processes getting compromised, and technology systems and so on getting compromised. Just one of them being compromised is not good enough nowadays. Right? So it is possible that this person is compromised for whatever reason, right? But there are systems and processes which will take care of that. But if 2 or 3 of these things get compromised, then of course there's likely to be a breach. So, I mean, your specific example that I get a call, the voice is modulated such that it appears, right? Those kind of phishing attacks. There are technologies today which can prevent the loss emanating from those kind of attacks. But if you've not deployed that technology, then of course, then there's no hope, right? You will lose the data.
Great. As ma'am rightly said about the training, so does Seclore also provide training to the people on time-to-time basis and keep upgrading them? Because the threats are always evolving and they are always becoming.
Yes and no. So we are not legal experts, right? That's where experts like Dr. Seth come in. So we are increasingly partnering now with legal expertise in general to make sure that when we are, the short answer is yes, we provide training. Seclore provides training, but trainings are more around technology for now. We are not providing legal compliance trainings, for example, right? And the idea of partnering with the legal infrastructure, let's say, is to make sure that companies get everything, right? People, trainings, processes, advisories on processes, and of course systems. Right? So we are partnering over there. A little bit of the training, which is the technology bit, we do ourselves, and for other things we rely on experts like.
I think it's become important increasingly because these days the way crimes are committed, places like Jamtara in India, how popular they are for scamming people. Every single day I get at least 15 to 20 cybercrime cases, and in one or the other modus operandi is that there's a social engineering attack, either through a keylogger or hacking or through a virus. They can read even OTPs in the phone and make unauthorized debits to one's e-wallets or accounts. And then there's this fake loan scam, fake share investment, stock broking scam. Then there are multiple of these, crimes which are there. And most of them, they try to play on the psyche of human behavior. And they will raise an anxiety. Your gas, if you have not submitted your gas bill, your gas will, supply will stop. Or if you, your electricity will stop from midnight or today, if you don't deposit this amount. These are very common everyday scenarios, and if we don't keep training the employees or people, then they will fall prey to all these traps. And this these days is very common to even find this fraud where the person will say that there's a courier which has come, and then they will have digital arrest. That's the latest on top of the scams.
Digital arrest.
Digital arrest.
Yeah.
I have not heard this one.
They will be extortion, they will be forgery, they will craft the letters and with the fake logos of authorities and send you that you have accessed a particular site. Now you are, this was pornographic and now your browser has been caught. And if you don't pay this much amount to resolve this out, this case is going to be investigated by the the SHO of that particular police station. Somebody will become the SHO and impersonate and threaten that now your case is registered, you will be put behind bars for 48 hours. So many of these cases have been reported in the press lately that people from all parts of the India, they have been threatened that if you don't pay this much amount, you can't move out from the house. You have to be there in investigation, and there are all fake logos used, all fake impersonated people who are sitting there and duping such people.
So it's definitely the
Educated people are also getting duped. Very educated.
Digital and physical worlds are coming together in that sense.
Absolutely.
So is there a way to stop that flow of finance that is happening? So
Bitcoins
once the
are a big
complaint
problem.
happens,
Bitcoins, that is being misused by the criminals.
so can the government have a law on not transferring the money to Bitcoins for at least a week or certain days?
RBI
so that
had passed some regulations, but now then the Supreme Court this matter went. Some circulars have been actually struck down because a lot of these, they were banning cryptocurrency trading and all. But now it's a grey area still. There's no ban, but you're doing it at your own risk. Right? That's how things are. But the government has been creating awareness on this issue, and we have enhanced our cybersecurity posture in the country. There is also going to be, more cyber awareness trainings being given, including to law enforcement, judges, police officers. I myself am a trainer there, so we train the Delhi, all over. In fact, National Police Academy and the National Judicial Academy, we train judges, and there have been advisories given from time to time through various ministries. So awareness is being given on this quarter.
Thank you so much.
Sir, what are the key trends driving the growth in this industry? And just now, ma'am talked about some challenges. So, apart from these challenges, any other challenges has been faced now?
Key trends that are driving is, at least from an enterprise perspective, cloud adoption is a big challenge. I mean, it's a big enabler. Let me start with that. And that big enabler comes with its own set of big challenges. And I would say the biggest of the lot is that when data is moving to the cloud, enterprises' control over that infrastructure, the cloud infrastructure, is much lower than the enterprise control of that same infrastructure when it was on-premise, right? So control over the data therefore reduces proportionally. So I think that's one big area where enterprises are very scared or wary of adopting the cloud, and this kind of technology which focuses on the data helps in cloud adoption. The second is interacting or working with a lot of third parties. So while the company itself has taken all the measures for security and compliance and so on, it is sending data about its customers or its employees to third parties, right? When you are adopting an online HRMS system, for example, or an online customer relationship management system, right? That big system is now the storehouse of your customer data or your employee data and so on. So adopting or passing on this data to third parties, whether they are cloud service providers or data processors and so on, has created a lot of risks when it comes to security and compliance, right? So those are two big things which are driving adoption of technologies where the focus is data and not systems and processes. But
yeah, I think I want to just add two things to this conversation right now. One is that citizens are being made aware that they can call up 1930 at the Ministry of Home Affairs. There's a division called I4C also, where they report cybercrime. So National Cybercrime Reporting Portal is cybercrime.gov.in, where they can immediately, even it's like a concept of zero FIR. So they may be anywhere. If they are duped, they can immediately go online and register their complaint, and then the police investigates this further. So that's a very good initiative by the government. And secondly, that this conference has come at a time where on 15th October itself, there were this standardization meet at the Indian Mobile Congress meet, where the Honorable Prime Minister of India inaugurated this at a world stage. We are world leaders now. I don't call ourselves India, Bharat as a nation is now a world leader. I call ourselves as that because we are setting the standards for the world. It's not just that we're developing software here. We used to be a software, hub only initially, but now the way technology and telecommunication in India has moved, it's phenomenal, and the whole world sees that not only regulations are being completely overhauled, our criminal law bills have been passed, our EPDP law has come about, TIA is just in the offing. We have several good initiatives in the legal aspect as well as we've also doing exceptionally well when it comes to standardization. Now we will be making policies and standards for the world. So it's not just developing products or giving these kind of, I would say, services, software services, but we are also world leaders in terms of making laws and policies. Even things like, when we had certifications, we would go with ISO certification. ISO 27001 is one such certification which all IT companies have to comply with as a deemed standard, one of the standards. We will be creating those standards, what the world needs to follow. So that's something which we are very proud of as a nation.
And one more thing that in more recent times that has driven this pattern is unmeditated use of AI systems, right? So AI systems can be a big help, but if you adopt all of these systems without thinking about it, it can lead to a lot of security breaches, right? So that's another pattern that is driving.
So responsible use of AI is what we strongly believe in, because unless we use technology in a transparent manner, fair manner, respecting human rights, and be accountable or responsible for what data and how we are collecting and what we are processing, we will not do justice, to the data or the services that we may be, providing, or the data that we are handling. So we have to be very cautious in terms of not only what we collect, how we process it, and for what lawful use we are making. We have to take due explicit consent from the consumer, and act responsibly for every business. Be accountable for this. That's very important to preserve the privacy rights of people.
Thank you.